I just want to invest in people that really want to be the best that they can be.
Hello, branch managers. It's Todd Scrima and Jim Reed and the lovely Robyn LaVassaur. We're talking to branch managers in the mortgage business today, and the title is Would You Work for You? It's a great, we just come up with these titles, just fun things to talk about. I think this is a huge one. So to start us off here, let's do this. If would you work for you, right? That's an introspective question. So Robyn, what's one thing, I'm a branch manager. What's one thing I got to do that is, you don't see a lot out there? What's one trait or one activity I got to do it?
I think one of the biggest for me is consistency.
I mean, I can't show up at 10 a.m. one day and noon the next and 8 a.m. the next.
Not at all the one after that.
Yeah, not at all. Yeah, not knowing what to expect, I think, is a better way of the way that I would portray consistency. But you're exactly right. Like being where you say you're going to be, being where people can anticipate, where they can access you as leadership. I think just consistency in general. If you're my boss, Todd. So if I had to track you down all the time, never knew if you were going to be at the office, never knew if you were going to be available, never knew when and how to get a hold of you, I would really struggle wanting to work for you.
Yeah, consistency. I totally agree. Jim, what's another one?
I do as a branch manager, I have to always be recruiting. I got to re-recruit my existing people and recruit new people. Always be recruiting.
Oh, say that first part again, Jimmy, because I think we miss this. We hear recruiting and we think go find new all the time.
The
potential
part of
replacements of those
re-recruiting your existing people. Like, there's two sayings that pop up. One is they don't know how much they don't care how much you know unless they know how much you care. Yes, and the second one is people forget how much you do for them.
Yes,
people do, and I do. So I'm guilty. Like what I mean by that is, I just got off the phone with an interview with a loan officer who wants to come work for me, and he had seen the business plan, the loan officer business plan that I do, and he said, I've worked at 2 mortgage companies, and they don't do anything for me. Like they don't do anything. They don't even say, hey, here's an idea. And so we do a lot for our loan officers as a branch manager. If you're a good one, you do a lot for them, and you have to constantly remind them what you do for them, so they don't forget. That's re-recruiting.
Yes. I'll do another one. And this is a big one that so many people, they think they do it and they do not. That is strong emotional energy.
Oh, yeah.
I walk into the corporate office. I'm like, hey, team, what's going on? What are you doing for the 4th? Right? Hey, how many deals you got?
Yeah.
Hey, what can I help you with? Hey, did you call that big agent? Oh, you didn't? Call him. Send me a text in 30 minutes. You better have called him.
With a smile.
And people are like, I had this one branch manager years ago. I said, bud, you got it all wrong. He says, what are you talking about? I said, you're 90% grizzly bear and 10% Mickey Mouse. It works much better to be 90% Mickey Mouse and 10% grizzly bear. And we talk about it. This is like 15 years ago. We talk about it all the time and chuckle about it because he changed. He's like, he's like, people don't want to hang around people that don't have energy and conviction and happiness and looking forward and hope. They don't want to work for you. And all the branch managers listen to this are like, I got pretty good. Hey, assistant, don't I have pretty good energy? She's going to say yes because you signed her paycheck. Put a mirror on your desk and find out, am I bringing it today? Because you are the parent.
Yes.
It's like, it's no different than coming home. And there's that old saying, if mama's not happy, no one's happy. You can walk into your house, whether it's your mom or your current spouse. And if someone's in a bad mood, it took you about how long to recognize that the mood was off?
3 seconds.
30 seconds.
30 seconds. And that's how most people, they're like depressed, they're scared, get all your loan officers in a car and go make some sales calls together. How about that kind of leadership? Oh, what a novel idea. How many times you made a sales call with a loan officer? Never. Okay, really good leadership there. That's very impressive. Robyn, what's another one?
Well, you took what it was probably my biggest one is the energy piece. I don't believe that I just don't believe that people understand what a difference it makes to be an energy vampire or somebody, right, that is a contributor, a Tigger, if you will. It's just, you want to be around people that make you smile and that make you happy and that you feel are invested in it. And man, it's I walk into offices, I can instantly feel if there is chemistry in any branch that I travel to around the nation. Literally instantly, I know if the vibe is off. I know it. And
100%.
That's a really big one. I think the other one is, to me, when you decide to lead people, leadership is a lot like parenting, and accountability is love. And when you're in a real relationship with anybody, there is conflict, there is confrontation, if you will, and both of those things ultimately are problem solving, right? If you're willing to do that, you ever not fight with your significant other? Do you ever not fight with your children? Do you ever not fight with your mom or your dad or your brother or your sister? People that you really truly love, you probably have the most overall confrontation with because it's a real relationship. And so I think one of the things that I often see in leaders, and Jimmy, I'm guessing you see a lot of this too, is avoidance of that conflict or that confrontation, and also that accountability piece, giving yourself permission to say, hey, if I really love you, I'm going to tell you the darn truth, right? I'm going to tell you about the fact that, listen, my most successful loan officers, I see their faces every day in this office. My ones that are struggling the most, I don't see every day in this office. Yep. Success leaves clues. When I get complaints from somebody who's not in the office very often, one of the first things I say is, okay, yes, we'll take care of that file or whatever the case, but can we talk about what else is not making you successful?
Shit, where you been lately?
Where you been? How do we get you on a better path? How do we make you gritty? Those things. And when you're not willing to do that as a leader, what you're really saying is, work for me for as long as you can. And if it ends up not working out, it ends up not working out. But I don't really care what happens. And that's when you avoid that accountability and those things. So I think great people that love you and care about you, hold you accountable and tell you the truth. And I think more leaders need to do a better job.
See,
100%. So I'll share something with you, just to two comments on that'll drive this home. Guys, we've had some branches not make it as good as we think we are. When you look at those branches, and Robyn, there's 2 or 3 running through your head right now. They didn't have that. At one point, the branch manager had energy, and now they don't.
Yep.
That's an issue. Okay. Now, to talk about a franchise, 2 franchises that come to mind that have energy: Chick-fil-A and Dutch Brothers. If you want a fun experiment, go to one of those franchises, anyone in the nation, and just see how it feels different. You get a coffee at Dutch Brothers, they're like, hey, what are you doing? How's it going? How's your day going? What can I do for you? It's literally like that. You go to Chick-fil-A, like, yes, sir. No, sir. Hey, I'm happy to get that for you. And they mean it. It's different.
But
Jimmy, give us one more and we'll close out.
I'm just going to echo that one. The phrase that I've been waiting to say, but you guys are just talking too much. We're going to have some fun at work, dude. That's my last one. You got to have fun at work. Sometimes I'll be running a branch meeting and everybody's so serious, and I'll just spend the rest of the meeting talking about having fun at work, because you have to have fun at work. There has to be some place you want to come. And here's what you can't do. It cracks me up. The beatings will continue until morale improves. That don't work.
No, morale improves.
You have to have fun at work. You have to be an encourager. And you have to be the leadership by example for it to happen.
Yes.
Jimmy,
on the Chick-fil-A piece of it, the Kathy family clearly has been just really figured out, really people, because business is people, right? That's what it's about. But when he talks about being a leader, one, he has no fear getting in there. Todd, you listen to him talk about that, getting in there and doing a camp out. He goes and this man's 76 years old and camps out with his people when they open a new location. They camp out with customers waiting for it to open. He sleeps on the ground in a sleeping bag to have fun with them. In addition to that, he says, one of the people said, how do you have the highest rated company of retention and customer service basically across the entire fast food industry? How? And he said, oh, that's really easy. If you're happy on the inside, meaning the interior people, if they're all happy, your customer for sure is going to be happy as well. You'll attract more.
But Robyn, the industry's struggling. Robyn, the industry's down 65%. Robyn, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is the time where you're tested.
Yes.
Like, I was just talking to a great leader, and we're talking about this, and I said, at the end of the day, what are we supposed to learn? So you go through a hard time. When you talk about all these people where they lost an arm in battle, or they went blind when they're 3 years old, there's a theme to those people. They tell you, going through that was the best thing that ever happened to me in my life. Why? Because you learn during the hard times. So would people work for you? Well, I know what your answer is 2020 and 2021. Yeah, Todd, they all loved it. Now is the time. That's like, Disneyland's. Everyone's happy at Disneyland. When you're not in Disneyland, are you happy? How do you have fun? How do you encourage people? How do you teach them sales skills? How do you keep them moving forward? How do you give them hope? Those are that's what we're talking about. So would they work for you? And people's like, well, if you hesitate, that's the problem. That's the problem.
Yeah, if you don't want to walk in the office, today? Neither do your people.
100%. And people are just scared and depressed, and it's not going to work. Not going to work. Now, I happen to feel blessed to be in this business, even though it's been brutal. And I've been through some crazy times, like we all have, but I still have fun. I still wake up and I'm like, I'm going to do this. Like, this is a fun challenge. This is a chess game. Like, how do you get through this? How do you make the right decisions? What sales skills are we improving? Those kind of ideas. That's the magic. That's the magic. Because as people see you doing that, it's no different than your parents. And I just want to be direct on this. I had two parents that both smoked cigarettes. I was using tobacco when I was 16. This doesn't work. Don't smoke, Todd. Don't smoke. Don't use tobacco.
Yeah, make your calls, loan officers, work. But let me go sit in my office and not make my calls. Yeah. Show up on time, but I'll be late. It's a, yep.
Yeah.
Mirrored leadership. Put that mirror in your office and look at yourself. Would you work for you? Now, I'll brag about Robyn just for a second. We were in an all-day meeting yesterday, all day. I called her later that night. I'm like, hey, you were a little bit off in that meeting. Are you okay? She says, I've got the flu. No one knew. Because she has that energy. And her energy is so powerful that she can have the flu and no one knows it. That's how good she is. Develop that skill. That's what I'm talking about, right? So, guys, would you work for you? It's a deep question, and I'm just telling you, you better have some answers. And that we gave you some, but at the end of the day, do they look at you and say, that's my leader walking by? And if they don't, you're in trouble. Bad trouble. And that doesn't mean you're happy all the time. It doesn't mean you don't hold people accountable. It doesn't mean that you don't get involved in problems. It means the opposite of all those things. When someone needs to be called out, you call them out. When someone's being lazy and they're hiding, call them out. So it's not about airy-fairy all the time. It's about believing so much in people and wanting them to succeed more than you want to succeed oftentimes. That's the magic. And if you get that, like the Chick-fil-A guy does, he's worth $7 billion, just so you know. He does not have to sleep in a sleeping bag. He just does it because it's part of his company culture. He wants to be with the people. And if you're hiding from your own people, that's a clear sign you're not a good leader. So be involved, be happy, Call people out when they need to be called out. Encourage them when they need encouraging. Use all those things. It's like a big puzzle, right? And different people need different puzzle pieces. You got to be smart enough to know what they need in the moment and give it to them and deliver. Okay. Guys, thank you very much. We appreciate you guys as always. Hopefully this came across well. We're just trying to help you. If you ever want to interview with Summit because you're like, hey, my company's going out of business or something's really bad, call us. We're happy to interview you. We're very selective. We don't take on many people because, frankly, most people ain't going to make it. So don't be surprised if we tell you that. But I also think water your grass where your grass is.
Amen.
Grass is grass,
That's the
buddy.
first
Grass
step.
is grass.
Grass is grass. There ain't some magical mortgage company out there. And a lot of people are fishing right now. They're like, it must be my company. No, you're grumpy. You're scared. You're not making sales calls. So there's a fine line to all
Amen.
that. Fine line. Guys, have a great day. God bless you. Appreciate you. Thanks, Jim.
Bye.
Thanks, Robyn.